The technical malfunction, but we're here now. We're live. My name is Amy Miller, and hopping on live today to talk about one of my favorite things: the power of time blocking. This has been a really great tool for me to help me get a lot of important things done, things that are important to me, in maximizing the time that I do have. And we all have, of course, you've heard this before, the same number of hours in our day, but some of us get a lot done, and then sometimes, despite our efforts and good intentions, we might end the day feeling frustrated because we're not feeling successful, because maybe we didn't move the needle toward getting things done throughout the day. So I want to hop on and talk about that and see how I can help. So time blocking can be super powerful for anybody, especially any working professional. Hiring managers in particular, you guys have a lot of different tasks and directions that you're being pulled in each and every day. If you are a working professional and you are looking to maybe transition your career or you're going through the interview process, this can be a lot to balance your full-time job and then going through the interview process, and or taking some time to prioritize researching what that next move might be for you. But you can get it all done when you use the power of time blocking. So time blocking is powerful for many different reasons. I'm going to share three. One, it can help you eliminate unnecessary stress. And two, time blocking can really help you to harness your focus, and it can help you to achieve a lot in a little amount of time. So it can help you eliminate stress, really harness your focus, and make a greater impact. But there are a few key steps that you want to take in order to actually harness the power of time blocking. And the first is you have to listen to your instincts and honor and then prioritize what is meaningful to you. That sounds simple, but it can actually be pretty challenging, especially when you have so many different things that are calling your attention. You have interruptions throughout the day. You have a lot of different goals that you're working toward and things that you need to get done. That can feel very stressful, and sometimes we can even tend to freeze up and we're not sure where to focus our energy, so we kind of just freeze. I don't do this anymore, but I am human. I used to do this. I think I remember the last time that I completely just kind of froze for just a little bit, maybe a few hours. But I was under a lot of stress because I was working to close on my condo, and of course there was a lot of stress and steps involved in the closing, and there were delays. And then I needed to get out of my apartment. The lease was ending, and I needed to schedule movers, and it was just a lot. So I think I just kind of froze and started watching television. But I don't do that anymore, and you don't have to either. So when you use the power of time blocking, you can feel in control, and you can eliminate unnecessary stress and really harness your focus. And why is it important to focus? Because we all know this, but we forget maybe the magnitude, maybe the power of it, or for some reason we still allow distractions in. But when you focus 80%, and I always say 80% because I don't know if we can ever focus 100% of our energy. Maybe there are some studies on that, but we always have thoughts in the back of our mind. But it is a choice to remember to bring your focus back on the task that you're working on. In order to do that, you have to trust that what you're working on is meaningful. And that can be challenging. We don't often bring ourselves present enough to identify and then prioritize our focus on what is meaningful to us. And that's challenging because you're going to have people coming in trying to distract your focus. And that could be at work, in the office, if you're going into an office setting, if you're out in the field, a sales rep, you're going to have a lot of different distractions. Maybe you plan your day out, but then this fire happens over here and you need to run to this client and then take care of that. You can still hyper focus and get a lot done even with the necessary distractions by controlling what you do have control over, and you can get a lot done in a little amount of time. First, I want to talk about interruptions and what they can do, how much they can damage your level of achievement and success and moving the needle in working toward your goals. And I had heard before, so you may have heard this before as well, a statistic, something about either when you're working on a task and you're focused and you shift your attention, the amount of time it takes to regain that momentum once you shift your focus back to the task that you were working on. And I had heard somewhere between 7 and 20 minutes. And I was thinking more about this, and I said, let me find that statistic because that sounds like a big variance. So I just did a quick Google search, and UC Berkeley has an article posted in their online magazine. It's called People and Culture. I'm going to link it in in the description. Short article, but I highly recommend. So in their study, in the study that they reference in the article, it says anywhere from 8 to 25 minutes. So that's where I had gotten that statistic from elsewhere, but similar numbers there, depending on the complexity of the task. And this is why I am super just hyper efficient and passionate about time blocks. I don't allow distractions because I understand the impact of distractions, and I get super frustrated when somebody's trying to when somebody's not staying on task. So it can be really challenging sometimes in group meetings and in office settings when everybody's not necessarily focused and staying on task. And this is why we can oftentimes leave a meeting feeling like we got nothing done. So 8 to 25 minutes, depending on the level of complexity. So let's just think about that for a moment. You have honored, you have acknowledged and honored what is important to you. Maybe, for example, you are a hiring manager and you're saying, okay, this is my 30-minute time block where I am going to review resumes, and then I'm going to get back to the recruiter on which candidates I want to schedule time with. Or maybe you're a candidate and you are going through the interview process, and you've got your full day of work, maybe a 10-hour workday. If you're in medical sales, you're likely working 10-hour workdays, and then you've got to find time to sit and prepare for the interview. So this can feel like a lot on your plate, okay? But let's say you've done that work to honor and acknowledge this is what's important to me right now. This is my 30-minute window where I'm going to sit here and focus. Then an email comes in, or a text message comes in, or somebody physically comes up to your workspace to ask you a question. If you choose, and it is a choice, and I know it can be hard, but it is a choice, to shift your focus and give this person or this task or this email your attention, you shift your focus, you've gained some momentum, you're feeling good, you're feeling like you're making progress, you shift your attention, your mind is going to feel cluttered and scattered, and you're going to cause yourself some stress as you try to recalibrate and shift your focus over here to this task. So let's then say you take care of that email or phone call or whatever it is. 10, 15 minutes go by. Now that is, if you gave yourself a 30-minute time block, half of your time block is gone. So then you shift your focus back, and then research shows, according to the complexity of the task, it's going to take you 8 to 25 minutes to regain the momentum that you had. So by this time, you could have lost up to 30 minutes just by shifting your focus. And I'm normally, as I was saying, really strong in time blocking. But one day, a couple weeks ago, I was feeling particularly stressed because I had a lot on my plate with a lot of roles that I'm recruiting for and my business, but also I'm currently taking courses pursuing a master's degree. And it's a lot because it is a 2-year program consolidated for full-time working executives into 1 year. So it's a lot, and I had this project to get done, so I was trying to fit it in where I could, and I kept shifting my focus, a little bit of recruiting, a little bit working on the paper. And I felt like a mess at the end of the day. I was really not focused, and I was not present, and this was just reaffirming what I'm already aware of, which is the power of time blocking. You don't want to shift your focus from this to this to this to this, because you're not going to get much done. And so going back to the meeting example, if you've ever left a meeting and you feel frustrated or more stressed than when you came into the meeting, it's probably because the time blocks were not used or implemented efficiently. So sometimes what can happen in a meeting is we've got our agenda, and an agenda is a form of time blocking. This is what we're going to discuss for the first 10 or 15 minutes, and then we're going to switch to this topic. And what can happen when you've got a lot of different minds coming together and you don't have somebody effectively leading the meeting is somebody can chime in and say, oh, but we have to talk about this, or you have people switching topics. And this is shifting focus. Or sometimes we have a little fun when it's not really time to have fun, and somebody will tell a joke, and then this veers the focus. And then everybody's brain has to try to recalibrate, and you don't end up getting anything done. So in order to move the needle, and that's all you want, that's all that you're working toward. If you are making progress, whatever your task is for you, you are going to feel successful. You're going to feel like you are getting things done that are important things to you, and that's going to feel really good. So what you want to do is really honor your time block, and that is going to mean saying no. And not everybody is going to understand that, and this is why it's challenging, because we tend to want to please other people. We don't want to disappoint other people. Sometimes we have a hard time saying no, but you are going to be able to make a bigger and better impact in the way that is meant for you when you do say no. When you say yes to yourself and your time block and focusing your energy and effort on what is important to you. And during that window of your time, this is another reason why time blocking is super powerful. You don't think about anything else. This is how time blocking can eliminate stress. And I'll give you an example. So for my master's program, we meet all weekend long, a few weekends a month. And so we had one project due the following day, and then a couple days after that we had our second project due, and I was saying something about feeling stressed or overwhelmed, or I don't know, something, I forget exactly, but the professor said, "Are you feeling stressed about the paper?" And I literally forgot about the paper. I mean, I was working on it, but not I was focused on the next project that was due the following day. And I said, no, I'm not stressed about paper. I'm focused on today and tomorrow. This the presentation and the PowerPoint presentation and the physical presentation that we were doing in class the next day. That was where I was hyper focused on. I literally had forgotten about the paper. Now, how this helps eliminate stress is if instead I'm thinking about the paper and I'm thinking about the presentation, my mind is trying to calibrate and think about and focus on two different areas. But if I time block, this is my focus. I am focused on the task at hand. I'm not even worried about that. This can eliminate so much stress. And I will literally forget about what is coming up, the next day. I mean, I've got it in my calendar. I'm not going to forget, but my mind is super hyper focused on what I'm working on right now. And this is how I get so much done in a short amount of time. And this also helps you when you acknowledge and honor what is important to you, what is meaningful to you, and then you choose to focus your time on that, and you don't allow, again, it's a choice, you don't allow distractions to come in. And I'll give you some more examples. You are going to elevate your self-esteem and your confidence and your belief in yourself, because you're trusting your instincts. You're saying, this is important to me. I'm blocking out my time for this. I'm saying, no, I'm not going to be able to do this. And it is hard at first, but once you get into once you choose it more and more, it becomes a habit. And you're by better serving yourself and saying yes to what is important to you, you are better serving others, because you're going to be able to make an impact in the way that is important to you. So, I used to do certain things like maybe volunteer for a certain organization. I'm saying no to that now, because I'm saying yes to other things that are taking up that I'm giving my time to, because I know that I'm going to be able to make a bigger impact if I focus my energy here. So that would be one example. And I want to share that the year, I forget, maybe a couple years ago, the year that I earned my highest earning year, so that was my busiest year work-wise, recruiting-wise. I had the most jobs and won the most jobs that I had ever worked on. It was very busy, taking up a lot of my time. Was the same year that I wrote and published my first book, and I did that in 90 days. And it was also the same year that I built out my coaching program. Each of those projects took a lot of time and a lot of focus, but the way that I was able to achieve all of that, get all of those things done that were important to me, was with time blocking. So when I decided I'm going to write and publish my book in 90 days, I scheduled a time block. So I'm a morning person, so I got up super early, and from this time to this time, this is my time that I'm writing. And I did have some potential distractions coming in, like other people in my life that were used to being able to get access to me at that time and maybe call and have a conversation, for example. Well, before I was available, now I'm not available. And I made it known I'm not going to be available at this time because I'm working on my writing. And what happens, this is another way that time blocking can help you level up and raise your self-confidence and improve and increase improve the people and opportunities that you're attracting into your life because of the choices that you're making. So what I mean is, not everybody is going to understand what you're doing when you choose to prioritize yourself and your time block and what's important to you. Now, why might somebody not understand that? It's because they're not doing that for themselves, and it may rub them the wrong way. It might even trigger them, because that's what happens when we may not even, it's so deep and underlying that a lot of times when somebody does something that triggers us or bothers us, we don't realize that that's something deep in us that we need to, that's trying to get our attention so that we look deeper at the problem and work on it. So that would be another topic for another video. I've talked about the shadow self in other videos. But when other people see you prioritizing something that is meaningful to you, you are doing something super brave. You are acknowledging, this is important to me. And then you are taking a risk, because you don't know what the outcome is going to be just yet, in prioritizing, focusing your time there. Of course, you could just say, well, yes, I would like to do that. That would be nice to spend some time working on writing. I would like to write a book, for example, but I need to do my job. I know what's going to happen if I put energy and effort in here. I'm likely to get paid more or something like that. You are taking a risk, and that is brave. And other people may not feel that brave yet. So they might feel, that's kind of like putting a mirror up at themselves, where they have to look at themselves and say, he or she, they're going after something that's important to them. Why am I not doing that? So it might put some people off. And I time block my day like down to the minute. I have some funny examples of that, which maybe I'll share if there's time. But not everybody is going to understand that. And but remember that you are going to be able to make a greater impact in the way that is meant for you when you acknowledge and honor and prioritize what is important to you. So you're going to have to say no to some people. Oh, I know what I was going to say. So I'll super time block my day, and if I schedule this 30-minute window or this hour window or this 15-minute window for a meeting, and then that person is late or doesn't show up, well, I may not I'll be as flexible as I can, but I may not be able to shift that. And if I schedule a meeting on somebody else's calendar, I'm going to be there, and I'm going to be there on time. Why? Because I honor, value, and respect and appreciate my time so much that is how much I honor, value, respect, and appreciate others' time. And so when you start to choose this for yourself, acknowledging, listening to, and really just choosing to block out your time and focus on what's important to you, you're naturally going to raise your vibration, and you're going to attract other people who do the same. Do you want to go into a meeting with a bunch of people that have a scattered focus and joke around a lot and skip from topic to topic, and then you get absolutely nothing done? If you're okay with that and you settle for that, that's where you are. And you're not going to achieve what you want to achieve. So you are going to probably lose some popularity with some people, and that's okay. It is the things that you're thinking about, the goals that you have, the things that you want to work toward are yours for a reason. And you want to listen to that, and then you want to make time for that. What other examples did I have for you? The class example, the book example. This is kind of a funny one, but I was in the locker room the other day after yoga, and we were talking about blow drying your hair. And I said, I recommend the Dyson. I can blow dry my hair in 7 minutes. And then I realized how silly and kind of funny that sounded. And I joked that I time block my day down to the minute. And she said, I see that. That's very efficient. But I know in doing so, I know how long it's going to take me to do certain things. And then I don't overextend myself. And if I have to say no, then I have to say no. And that's going to eliminate some stress. But the key, there's a lot of key things here. But with time blocking, the reason why it's so effective is because of the momentum. Okay, so once you've done the hard work of acknowledging what you want, prioritizing your focus, blocking out your time, then you're going to sit down and you're going to get started. And by choosing not to allow any other distractions in, then you can gain more and more and more and more and more momentum as you become super immersed in what you are working on. And then you're going to get more done. Whereas if you instead you do a little bit here, and then you shift your focus and you do a little bit here, and then you shift your focus and you do a little bit here, where's your momentum? There's no opportunity for momentum. So I encourage you to start trying out time blocking. You can make a schedule or your to-do list, and that part of your day where you feel the most focused and energized, that's where you do your most important and or most challenging task. And you let people know if you need to put an alert on your outgoing email or whatever you need to do, turn off your phone. You sit and you focus, and this is going to raise your confidence because you're trusting your instincts, you're trusting yourself, you're honoring what is important to you. And this is going to allow you to gain that momentum. And you're going to feel, you're going to get a lot more done, and you're going to feel successful. And success is just moving the needle. It's just accomplishing things. And I'm sure we can all think of times. I can think of so many examples in my past. The biggest one that comes to mind is when I was trying to get my career started after college. I was still stuck after 4 years doing the same job, waiting tables, trying to get my career started. And the reason why I was having such a challenge, I learned years later, was because of my focus. My focus was scattered. I was taking acting classes, okay, 20% focus over here. I was taking writing classes, okay, 20% focus over here. I had my job, okay, 40% focus over here. And then I was looking for work, okay, another 20% focus over here. I don't know how many percentages, if that equals 100 yet, anyhow. And then I worked out. So I finally paused and I got my head clear and focused. And I said, you know what? The most important thing to me is starting my career. I'm going to do my job because I have to make money. I have bills. And of course, I'm going to go work out. I'm going to take care of myself. And then I'm going to quit the extracurricular stuff and just focus the rest of my energy and efforts on getting a job. And then I got one in like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or something like that. So if you're feeling scattered, if you're feeling unfocused, if you are feeling overwhelmed, get present, do some deep breathing, do some soul searching, pay attention to how you're feeling, and let your emotions point you in the right direction as far as what you need to prioritize, and then give yourself a time block. Maybe it's 2 hours a day, maybe it's 1 hour a day, but when you time block your tasks out and you say, okay, this time from this hour to this hour, I'm working on this, and then you don't think about anything else, this also takes your own internal distractions out as well. So in addition to the external distractions that you can choose to not allow in, you can also remind yourself, okay, I don't need to think about the paper because the paper's due 2 days from now. Tomorrow, the presentation is due, so I'm only focused on the presentation. And this is going to clear your mind. It's going to help you hyper-focus. It's going to help you gain momentum. So I hope that helped and that you got some value from the video. If you did, I invite you to like and subscribe. That will help me grow the channel. I need some help with that. And it'll also help you stay updated for my next video. If you are interested in potentially working together, if you're looking for some help in the interview process and in transitioning your career, you are welcome to book a call on my calendar. And you can also check out my course. There's more information on that on my website, amyleemiller.com. Thank you for watching. Sorry about the technical difficulties at the top, and I'll see you on the next one.